Your children won't know what a shopping cart is. A shopping cart will only be like, oh look, you 3D printed a shopping cart icon. Hi, I'm Jill Maurer. Today I'm talking about the future of retail. And to really take a look at the future of retail, I think it's important to take a look back and see where we are today, how we got here. The history of retail is that originally there wasn't a lot of retail, so everything was custom made for you. If you wanted a suit, you called somebody or went to somebody who made you the suit. There wasn't really a such thing as a grocery store. You would go to, I don't even know I guess the general store, and you wouldn't take that shopping cart and go around and look at things. Everything would be behind a counter. This is the way that my grandmother shopped. Everything was behind a counter, and she would say, I'd like, 3 cups of flour and whatever. And the shopkeeper would get those things down for her, package them up, and give them to her. And then she would move on to the butcher, and she'd go to the fruit stand, and she didn't really touch the things and feel them herself. She would indicate what she wanted and they would be handed to her. Later, as the grocery store came along, my grandmother, she would still say, I'm going to the market. And to her, what that meant was this place where all of these people had come together and they were selling meat and fruit and rice all in the same place. And much was the same with dry goods. So Brooks Brothers actually started selling ready-made suits for salesmen, because a salesman did not have time to stay in one place and have a suit made. He just wasn't there long enough. And so Brooks Brothers would actually turn the suits inside out so you could see how well they were made, lay them on a table, and you would buy the suit ready made and maybe have it fitted a little bit. But this is how retail started to come into play. So then it progressed to where you would have a place to go to feel things and buy things, and we created this concept of sizes, and you would try things on and you would buy them. Now, a lot of times though, if you were in a regional area, you had to really drive into town to go shopping. And this continued for a long time. If you're familiar with Mayberry at all, you'll remember that the characters on the Andy Griffith Show, when they really wanted to shop, they would drive into the big city of Raleigh and go do their shopping there. And that's how it happened. Next, what happened was that started to branch out, and it started to branch out with catalogs. And catalogs really hit their heyday in the 1980s. And it was a big thing because you could go to your mailbox and now you were seeing items and things that were not near you. And it was very exciting. And that is how companies like Land's End, LL Bean, although they had been around longer. One of the companies that had sold items of clothing for a long time, since the 1800s, was the Sears catalog. As they were selling dry goods, they were selling clothing and things to people who were very, very rural, who were on farms. But by the 1980s, we're now getting to see all kinds of, to us at the time, they were exotic and interesting things. Our world just opened up with these catalogs. So the next comes the internet, and we weren't really sure what was going to happen with the internet. With catalogs, you had to build a little bit of trust to continue buying from these catalogs. And there was this return policy in the shipping, and was this company real, and would you really get anything when you sent your money to them? This was also a lot of times before people really used credit cards that much. So you'd write them a check and send it, and it was very difficult to get your money back if they didn't want to give it to you back and if you never got a product. The internet comes along, and we started out with those same kind of trust issues. Like, who are these people? Where are they? Can I trust them with my money? Can I trust them with my information? And for a long time, we really didn't know which way that would go, and catalogs continued to survive for a good while. So what's happening in the retail area at this time is that malls are coming alive too. So in the 70s, 80s, malls are really coming alive. And so what you're having areas where there are a lot of stores that come together, and you have in one place, and you have the ability to go shop and make decisions and find a lot of things together in one place. The internet comes along, and we have this same concern about the internet that we did in the beginning about the catalogs. Can we trust these people? Are they real? We have credit cards, but are they going to just steal all my credit card information? And to be fair, there were a lot of very unethical sellers on the internet in the beginning, because anytime somebody wants to take advantage of somebody, they will always use the latest technology to do so. And the internet was a very good place for them to do that. Even eBay in the beginning, a lot of the sellers were very unethical, and eBay did a great job of stamping that out, of making sure that they were saying that we're not going to tolerate that. And by and large, the internet worked out that way too. For the most part, people selling on the internet, there are a lot of very trustworthy companies, and we trust them. We trust them so much that we are now buying almost as much on the internet as we are buying in person. And by all accounts, we're expecting to be buying more and more on the internet. Not only more items, but more expensive items. We're having a great deal of trust with the internet, sometimes more than with a physical store. And a lot of the reason for that is that we can talk to each other, we being the people who are shopping. So sometimes right there we can rate it, but we can also go to another place on the internet and chat about what's going on with a certain company. And that actually builds a lot of trust because we know that we can talk to other people about it. So where are we headed? This brings us today, and where are we headed and where are things going? Malls will continue to close, and we will continue to shop more and more online. And we'll buy things that are more expensive. And also what we're demanding is to know more about how our products are made, who's making them, what are the materials, and how do they hold up over the long term. These are things we can start really asking and demanding to know, and being able to know that we couldn't know just walking around and looking at the things in person. So there is this opportunity to have an even more intimate experience with products and who made them online, which is kind of interesting. That doesn't mean that we won't ever want to touch and feel the products. So I think that where stores are headed, and a lot of us are researching this, and there have been some examples come forward where the stores are more experiential. That's the word you'll hear people say, an experiential store, where the idea isn't even necessarily that you buy something right there. It's that you get introduced to the product. So when you do travel and you're able to go to New York City now instead, or into some big city, now instead of big department stores, what you might do is you might start seeking out different brands where you can get to know them in person, because once you do that, then you would be more comfortable buying from them online. As I sell jewelry, I design jewelry, and soon to be some other things. But when you can think of almost any brand where you go, if you feel it and you touch one pair of earrings and you try them on, when you get back home and they release new earrings or a new item, you have a pretty good feel for what it's like. You have a better idea of the weight, of the posts, just of the way that the person designs, the overall quality, and then you feel more comfortable buying from that person. Also knowing that you can return things. So, and this is true in almost every aspect. How will things change even further? I think that you are going to be able to go somewhere and have your body scanned. There are some of these programs already where you can go and have your body scanned and then order clothing and order items that will be custom made to you based on the scan of your body. So companies won't have to have a lot of in-stock items anymore. There will be more and more things that are custom made and that are made as you order them. So you will have a more personal experience being able to order customized items, and there should be a lot less waste because people aren't having to buy in huge quantities to get the price down and have huge warehouses full of things to get you the price that you want. Also, there will be the concept of your items reordering themselves. Already Amazon lets you sort of subscribe to an item. So say if you use a certain laundry detergent, they'll send it to you regularly, or they even give you a button, and as it's getting low, you can hit the button and it will order. This will progress to the point where the item itself will know when it's getting low and just reorder itself, and then it'll come to your house. So what do you think? What have been your experiences with retail, and where do you think retail is headed? What would you like to see? Where would you like to see retail go? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Down below, you'll also find a link to my podcast, Maurer Glass Podcast, on this topic. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.